Welcome to Solin Speaks. I'm Dan Solin, and as always, we're diving into the real-world challenges and opportunities financial advisors face. Today's topic: when should you recommend portfolios with small and value tilts? I use AI technology to create these podcasts for those who prefer learning by listening. I know your time is valuable, so I keep these podcasts under 10 minutes. Joining me today is my good friend David, who'll keep me on my toes with some great questions. Let's dive in.
Great to be here, Dan. Let's jump right in. You talk a lot about factor investing. For advisors out there, what's the appeal of adding a small or value tilt? Why bother messing with a perfectly good market cap weighted portfolio?
Excellent question, David. The idea comes from academic research, think Fama and French, suggesting that small cap and value stocks may offer higher expected returns over the long haul. It's a bit like choosing between plain vanilla ice cream and a sundae with extra toppings. The tilt adds flavor, potentially higher returns if you're patient. But just like toppings, it may not be to everyone's taste.
Okay, so factor tilts are the sprinkles and chocolate sauce of investing. But what about the downside? Advisors sometimes find that clients lose patience when these tilts underperform. How do you handle that conversation?
You're right. The toughest part is dealing with clients' expectations. Clients see the headlines: giant tech stocks soaring, neighbors bragging about their portfolios, and meanwhile, their small and value tilt seems stuck in neutral. This is where the advisor's communication skills shine. If you're going to recommend a tilt, you must explain from the start. This is a long-term play, measured in decades, not years. You set the stage up front. We're looking for consistent sprinkles over the long haul, not an instant sugar rush.
I love the dessert analogies, Dan. But not everyone's got a sweet tooth. Some clients might panic and bail early. How do advisors pick the right clients for these tilts?
Spot on. Not everyone should be eating banana splits, right? Advisors need to assess a client's temperament, their risk tolerance, and especially their time horizon. A client who measures success over 3 to 5 years and hates lagging performance probably isn't a good candidate. On the other hand, a young professional investing for retirement 30 years down the line, or an endowment with a multi-generational outlook, is more likely to reap the long-term benefits and stay the course. The advisor's job is like a good matchmaker, pairing the right strategy with the right client personality.
And what about practical steps to introduce these tilts? You can't just throw a client into the deep end of the pool, right?
Exactly. Start small. Maybe tilt just a portion, 10 or 20% of the equity allocation, towards small cap value. Explain what you're doing and why. Keep the bulk of the portfolio in a broadly diversified, straightforward structure. Over time, if both advisor and client are comfortable, they can adjust the tilt. Also, regularly check in. When performance lags, revisit the original rationale. If the stress becomes too much and the client's losing sleep, scale back or remove the tilt. It's not about being right academically. It's about what helps the client stay invested.
So basically, be the cool-headed friend who talks you out of doing something silly at 2 a.m. Got it! Last question. What if, after all this careful consideration, the advisor thinks, you know what, maybe no tilt is the best fit? Is that okay?
Absolutely. A globally diversified, low-cost, market cap-weighted portfolio is a fantastic default option. It's like vanilla ice cream, plain, sure, but reliably good and easy to explain. You don't have to add toppings if it's going to upset your stomach. Advisors should remember there are many ways to succeed. Sometimes the simplest route is the best, especially if it keeps the client calm, committed, and focused on their long-term goals.
Great insights, Dan. So the key takeaway: small and value tilts can be great for some clients, but they're not a one-size-fits-all solution. Communicate clearly, manage expectations, and don't force a strategy that doesn't fit the client's temperament. Right?
You nailed it, David. The real art here is knowing your client. Remember, the goal is building durable, long-term wealth in a way that clients understand and embrace. If tilts help and the client's on board, great. If not, sticking with a simpler approach is perfectly fine.
Perfect. Dan, thanks for shedding light on this. This was so informative and fun. You really made these concepts accessible.
My pleasure, David. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. I hope this helps you think carefully about when and for whom small and value tilts make sense. Keep those questions coming, and remember, at the end of the day, it's about serving your client's best interests. I'm Dan Solin, and this is Solin Speaks. See you next time.